Good evening, space truckers. Please like and subscribe before we drift off into another tale. As the Serenity continued its steady glide through the vast expanse, the inner planets beginning to emerge as faint, glowing orbs on the horizon of the starfield, Elias Thorne felt a profound sense of alignment with the cosmos. The ship's autopilot maintained a flawless course, the gentle thrum of the engines a constant reassuring presence, like the rhythmic breathing of a slumbering world. Outside, the void was dotted with distant asteroids, mere whispers of rock drifting lazily in the solar wind, their surfaces catching glints of light from the approaching sun. There was no urgency here, no clamor of deadlines or demands, only the quiet unfolding of the journey, a meditation in motion that invited Elias to sink deeper into his reflections. He rose from his bunk after a restful nap, the kind that left him refreshed rather than weary, and made his way to the small galley once more. The space was compact, yet comforting, with storage compartments neatly organized and a viewport offering a sliver of the stars. Elias prepared a fresh brew of tea, leaves harvested from his onboard garden, steeped in hot water, recycled from the ship's condensers. The steam rose in soft spirals, carrying notes of mint and lemon balm, scents that evoked tranquil gardens on far-off colonies. He carried the mug back to the cockpit, settling into his chair with the mug's warmth cradled in his hands. The tea's flavor was subtle, a gentle caress on the palate, reminding him of Seneca's insight. It is quality, rather than quantity, that matters. In this simple act of preparation and enjoyment, Elias found a microcosm of Stoic living, appreciating the modest pleasures without excess, finding fulfillment in the ordinary, gazing out at the approaching belt of inner asteroids, smaller and less dense than those near Ceres. Elias let his mind wander through the layers of Stoic philosophy that had become his inner sanctuary. He thought of the concept of apatheia, not apathy as some misunderstood it, but a state of being undisturbed by passions, a serene equilibrium amid life's fluctuations. Epictetus had described it as freedom from the tyranny of external events, and Elias embodied this now. A faint sensor ping indicated a minor gravitational pull from a nearby rock cluster. No threat, just a natural occurrence. He adjusted the trajectory with a few calm inputs, feeling no ripple of concern, only a quiet acknowledgement of the universe's design. The stars beyond remained steadfast, their light traveling eons to reach him, a testament to patience and persistence. The hours stretched like the infinite paths of light, allowing Elias to delve into memories that surface softly without the sting of regret. He recalled his first solo haul, decades ago, when the isolation had felt oppressive, a weight pressing on his chest like unyielding gravity. Back then, he had filled the silence with holovids and chatter from the guild channels, anything to drown out the quiet. But Stoicism had taught him the value of that silence. As Aurelius noted, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Now the quiet was his ally, a space for contemplation where thoughts flowed like gentle currents, carrying him toward greater understanding. He visualized his worries as distant comets, visible but fleeting, leaving no lasting mark on the vast sky of his mind. A soft glow from the console drew his attention, an automated update from the ship's library, suggesting a passage from Seneca's essays. Elias accepted, and the text materialized in holographic form, floating ethereally before him. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality, it read. He nodded slowly, letting the words settle like dew on leaves. How true this had proven in his life. The imagined perils of pirate encounters or system failures that never materialized, the phantom pains of what-ifs that stole his peace. In the present, surrounded by the ship's reliable embrace, he released those illusions, focusing instead on the tangible, the warmth of his tea, the steady pulse of the engines, the infinite beauty unfolding outside. As the Serenity navigated a sparse field of debris, remnants from an ancient collision perhaps, Elias performed a visual scan through the enhanced viewport. The fragments tumbled gracefully, their edges softened by eons of cosmic erosion, reflecting faint hues of metallic sheen. It was a dance of serenity, each piece following its ordained path without conflict or haste. Elias drew a parallel to human existence, as Stoics often did with nature. Just as these rocks coexisted in harmony despite their chaotic origins, so too could one find balance amid life's uncertainties. Adapt yourself to the things among which your lot has been cast, Aurelius advised, and love sincerely the fellow creatures with whom destiny has ordained that you shall live. For Elias, those fellow creatures were scattered across the stars, Lena and her family on Mars, the miners on Ceres, even the distant voices of guild updates. He sent a silent wave of goodwill toward them all, a quiet affirmation of connection in the vast separation. The afternoon cycle brought a subtle shift in the ship's lighting, simulating the golden hour of a planetary sunset. Warm tones bathed the cockpit, casting long shadows that played across the panels like gentle waves on a shore. Elias stretched his limbs, feeling the subtle pull of artificial gravity, and decided on a light exercise routine. Slow, deliberate movements drawn from ancient Earth practices, adapted for zero-G, but effective here. He flowed through poses that mimicked the grace of orbiting bodies, breathing deeply with each transition, his mind clearing like a fog lifting from a valley. Stoicism encouraged care of the body as a vessel for the soul, and in these moments Elias honored that, maintaining his form not out of vanity, but out of respect for the gift of life. Returning to his seat, refreshed and centered, Elias activated a soft audio overlay. Recorded sounds from a distant gas giant's atmosphere, swirling winds and faint electromagnetic hums blended into a symphony of calm. The nebula they had passed earlier now appeared in the rear sensors, a fading watercolor of purples and blues, a beautiful farewell. He pondered the Stoic virtue of temperance, the moderation that kept desires in check. In his hauling days, he had chased bigger loads, faster routes, always hungry for more. Now he savored the sufficiency of what was, a reliable ship, a meaningful purpose, the endless canvas of space. He who is greedy is always in want, Horace had said, a sentiment echoed in Stoic teachings. Elias was content, his wants aligned with needs, his peace undisturbed. As evening approached in the ship's artificial rhythm, Elias prepared for another rest period. He dimmed the audio to a whisper, the sounds fading like echoes in a vast hall, and reclined with a blanket woven from recycled fibers, soft and enveloping. His thoughts turned to justice, the final Stoic pillar, living in harmony with others and the world. His halls contributed to that harmony, delivering essentials that sustained colonies, fostering growth in humanity's outreach. No grand heroics, just steady ethical action. Do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter, Aurelius had urged. In the quiet, Elias affirmed this, his conscience clear as the void. Sleep came gradually, a soft descent into dreams where stars whispered ancient truths and Elias floated among them at peace. The Serenity sailed on, a beacon of tranquility in the night, carrying its guardian through realms of restful wonder. The universe, in all its majesty, continued its eternal waltz, inviting all who listened to join in the calm. With the return leg well underway, the Serenity approached the midpoint marker, a virtual buoy in the navigation system signaling halfway home. Elias awoke to the gentle chime of the alert, stretching languidly as the cockpit lights brightened to a morning simulation. The viewport revealed a sparse star field, with Mars's reddish hue just visible as a tiny disk, a reminder of Lena waiting there. He smiled faintly, the connection warming him like sunlight on skin. Breakfast was simple, a nutrient bar infused with fruits from the hydroponics, paired with fresh water from the recyclers. Eating mindfully, Elias contemplated the Stoic exercise of voluntary discomfort, occasionally foregoing luxuries to appreciate them more. Out here, discomfort was rare, but he practiced by limiting distractions, immersing in the pure quiet. Bear and forbear, Epictetus had said, a mantra for enduring with grace. Elias bore the solitude not as burden, but as gift, forbearing complaints in favor of gratitude. The day unfolded with routine scans, the ship's AI reporting all systems optimal in its soothing tone. Elias reviewed cargo logs, ensuring everything was secure, his actions methodical and serene. A distant satellite crossed their path, a silent sentinel monitoring space traffic, and Elias exchanged automated handshakes, a digital nod of acknowledgement. In this interconnected web, Stoicism reminded him of cosmopolitanism, the idea that all beings are citizens of the universe, bound by reason and kindness. He extended that to the miners, the orbital workers, even the AI companions like Aura, all part of the greater whole. Midday brought a moment of leisure. Elias accessed the ship's library, selecting a holographic projection of Earth's ancient landscapes. Rolling hills under blue skies, rivers meandering through valleys. The images floated around him, accompanied by soft nature sounds, bird song, wind through leaves, the distant lap of water. It was a Stoic visualization, grounding him in nature's cycles while soaring through artificial voids. Look round at the courses of the stars, as if thou wert going along with them, Aurelius suggested. Elias did, syncing his breath to the simulated rhythms, finding unity in diversity. As the projection faded, Elias noted a subtle shift in the solar wind, mild particles brushing the shields like a soft rain. He monitored it calmly, no alarm raised, just awareness. Stoicism's premeditation of challenges prepared him for such moments, reducing surprise to mere observation. The wind passed, leaving the ship unscathed, and Elias felt a quiet triumph in his composure. The afternoon waned with more reflections. Elias journaling his thoughts on a digital pad, notes on virtues applied, lessons from the hall. Writing clarified the mind, as Seneca recommended. We should hunt out the helpful pieces of teaching and the spirited and noble-minded sayings which are capable of immediate practical application. His entries were brief, poetic. Stars teach patience, voids self-reliance. Evening arrived with the ship's lights softening to twilight. Elias dined on a light salad from the garden, crisp leaves and tomatoes, flavors fresh and vibrant. Eating by the viewport, He watched Venus gleam brightly, an evening star, heralding night's approach. The meal complete, he tidied with care, each action a mindful step. Preparing for sleep, Elias activated a final audio layer, distant galactic whispers, low and enveloping. Lying down, he released the day, Stoicism's detachment easing him into rest. "This too shall pass," he murmured, a mantra for all seasons. Dreams awaited, peaceful realms where philosophy bloomed like stars, and the Serenity cradled him through the night. The following cycle dawned with the ship nearing Mars's orbital path, a refueling stop planned at Phobos Station. Elias awoke refreshed, the stars greeting him like old friends. He brewed tea, the ritual anchor, and contemplated courage, the stoic strength to face fears. In space, fears were many, but tamed by reason, they became mere shadows. Docking at Phobos was seamless, the station's arms embracing the Serenity with mechanical grace. Elias exchanged supplies, chatting briefly with technicians about minor upgrades. Their voices, warm across the link, reinforced community in isolation. Undocked, the ship resumed course, Earth now a blue jewel growing larger. Elias reflected on the hall's end, gratitude filling him. Stoicism had woven peace into every moment, turning routine into revelation. As sleep called again, Elias surrendered. The cosmos his lullaby, eternal and serene. As the Serenity eased into the final stretch of its return voyage, the blue marble of Earth growing steadily larger on the horizon like a distant promise of harbor, Elias Thorne felt the subtle shift in gravity as the ship aligned with the orbital lanes. The engines purred with a low, steady rhythm, a soothing undertone that vibrated gently through the deck, inviting a sense of surrender to the flow of the journey. Outside, the stars seemed to slow their dance, clustering in familiar constellations that had guided humanity for millennia. Orion's belt, a quiet sentinel. The Pleiades, a soft cluster of light, like scattered dreams. There was no haste in this approach, only a gradual unfolding, much like the breath of someone easing into slumber. Each inhale and exhale, a step deeper into rest. Elias rose from his chair, his movements deliberate and unhurried, and wandered to the small viewport in the aft section, where the receding outer system painted a tapestry of fading lights. A faint trail of cosmic dust lingered behind the ship, shimmering in the solar glow, a reminder of paths traveled and left behind. He paused there, hands clasped loosely behind his back, and let his mind drift once more into the gentle currents of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius had written, "The universe is change, life is opinion." In this moment, Elias embodied that truth. The ship's scars from past hauls were mere changes, not tragedies. His opinions shaped them into badges of endurance rather than burdens. The dust trail outside mirrored this. Particles once part of distant worlds, now transformed, carried onward without resistance. He breathed deeply, feeling the recycled air fill his lungs with cool freshness, and released any lingering tension, allowing his thoughts to settle like sediment in a calm pond. Returning to the cockpit, Elias adjusted the ambient lighting to a softer twilight blue, evoking the hush of evening on a forested world he had only seen in holovids. The controls glowed faintly, their displays scrolling with routine updates, fuel levels stable, trajectory optimal, no anomalies in sight. He settled into his seat, cradling a fresh mug of tea, the steam rising in lazy wisps that carried hints of lavender and honey, scents chosen to evoke tranquility. Sipping slowly, he savored the warmth spreading through him. A simple act of presence that anchored his reflections. Stoicism taught the art of mindfulness, of inhabiting each moment fully without grasping for the next. Epictetus had said, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well." Elias applied this to his halls. Delays were not foes, but part of the natural rhythm, much like the pauses in a symphony that heightened the melody. Here, in the quiet glide toward Earth, everything flowed as it should, and he wished for nothing more. The hours melted away in this serene bubble, the ship a cocoon of peace amid the void. Elias performed a light systems check, his fingers dancing lightly over the holographic interface, confirming the cargo hold's stability and the life support's gentle cycle. A minor fluctuation in the environmental humidifier caught his eye. A trivial adjustment, resolved with a few calm taps. In his younger days, such glitches might have sparked irritation, a ripple disturbing the surface. Now he viewed them through Seneca's lens. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The mind's projections of catastrophe were illusions. The reality was a quick fix, leaving him undisturbed, his inner calm as vast as the space around him. He leaned back, closing his eyes for a moment, visualizing his worries as distant asteroids, visible but harmless, drifting away into obscurity. As the Serenity drew nearer to the bustling orbital stations, faint radio chatter began to filter through the comms. Docking requests from other vessels, automated beacons welcoming travelers home. Elias tuned the volume low, letting the voices blend into a background murmur, like the soft rustle of leaves in a breeze. One message stood out, a guild update on upcoming routes, offering him a choice for his next haul. He considered it without attachment, stoicism guiding him to weigh options with reason rather than desire. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Nietzsche had echoed Stoic sentiments, though Elias drew directly from Aurelius. Objective judgment now, at this very moment. Unselfish action now, at this very moment. Willing acceptance now, at this very moment of all external events. He chose a route to the lunar outposts, a familiar path that promised steady service without excess strain, accepting it as the right action in this moment. The approach to Earth's orbit brought a subtle increase in activity, the ship's sensors picking up the dense traffic of shuttles and freighters, their lights weaving a luminous web against the planet's azure curve. Elias navigated with ease, the autopilot assisting in a dance of precision that felt more like a waltz than a challenge. Continents scrolled below, swathed in clouds, oceans gleaming under the sun's caress, a sight that always stirred a quiet awe. Stoicism encouraged appreciation of nature's grandeur, a recognition that humanity was but a thread in the cosmic fabric. Look at the stars lighting up the sky. No one of them stays in the same place, Aurelius observed. Elias watched a satellite pass overhead, a man-made star in motion, and felt connected to that impermanence, his own life a brief, meaningful orbit in the grand design. Docking procedures initiated with a soft series of beeps, the Serenity aligning seamlessly with the station's berth. Clamps engaged with a gentle thud, and Elias powered down non-essential systems, the ship sighing into rest like a weary traveler finding bed. He gathered his logs, preparing for the handover, a routine exchange with station personnel, brief and cordial. As he waited for the airlock to cycle, he reflected on justice. the Stoic virtue of fair dealings and contribution to the common good. His halls sustained lives, bridged worlds. In this, he found purpose, a quiet fulfillment that needed no acclaim. The station's interior welcomed him with the hum of activity, distant conversations, the scent of processed air mingled with hints of fresh produce from hydroponic bays. Elias exchanged nods with fellow truckers, sharing a few words on routes and weather patterns in the void. No deep debates, just the warmth of shared humanity, echoing Epictetus. Other people's views and troubles can be contagious. Don't sabotage yourself by unwittingly adopting negative, unproductive attitudes through your associations with others. He chose associations wisely, keeping them light and positive, preserving his inner peace. Back aboard after the exchange, the Serenity undocked with a smooth release, drifting free once more. Elias set the course for a brief layover orbit, allowing time for personal rest. The ship circled Earth lazily, the planet's night side revealing city lights like a glittering mosaic, humanity's dreams etched in glow. He dimmed the cabin fully, activating a soft starfield projection on the ceiling, a canopy of lights mimicking the real view outside. Lying down, he let Stoicism's final whispers guide him towards sleep. Acceptance of the day's end, gratitude for its gifts, readiness for whatever dawn might bring. The universe turned onward, the Serenity a peaceful vessel in its embrace. Elias's breaths slowed, deepening into rhythm with the cosmos, thoughts dissolving into stillness. Seneca's words faded softly. The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. In this immediate now, sleep claimed him gently, the stars watching over like eternal guardians, weaving dreams of serenity and wisdom. With the layover complete, Elias awoke to the soft chime of departure clearance. The ship eased away from orbit, engines engaging with a whisper, propelling them toward the next haul. The view of Earth receded, a blue gem shrinking into memory, and Elias felt no pang, only appreciation for the cycle. Stoicism taught detachment, not indifference. He cherished the planet's beauty while releasing attachment to its pull. The void welcomed them back, stars resuming their timeless vigil. Elias brewed another tea, the ritual a bridge between rests, and contemplated courage, the quiet strength to face the unknown. In space, unknowns abounded, but armed with reason, they became adventures in equanimity. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body, Seneca noted. Elias's mind, honed by years of reflection, was strong, flexible, ready. The journey stretched ahead, peaceful and purposeful, each moment a step in the Stoic path. As night cycle returned, Elias surrendered once more, the hum lulling him, dreams awaiting in the calm expanse. The story of his voyage continued, a soothing narrative for the soul, guiding listeners toward their own restful horizons. As the Serenity completed its orbital maneuvers around Earth, easing into a docking berth at one of the bustling spaceports high above the equator, Elias Thorne felt the familiar, gentle thud of the clamps engaging. The station was a sprawling hub of activity, a floating city of alloy and lights where freighters from across the system converged like migratory birds at a watering hole. Yet, even amid the distant clangs of loading arms and the soft whoosh of airlock cycling, there was an underlying calm, a rhythm to the chaos that Elias had learned to appreciate through his Stoic lens. The engines powered down to a whisper, their hum fading into silence like the last notes of a lullaby, leaving only the subtle vibration of the station's own life support systems resonating through the hull. Elias unstrapped from his seat, his movements slow and deliberate, as if each step was a mindful acknowledgement of the present moment. He gathered his personal log and a small duffel of essentials, simple items like a change of jumpsuit and his tablet filled with philosophical texts before cycling the airlock. The port's interior welcomed him with a rush of processed air, carrying faint scents of metallic tang and recycled oxygen, mingled with the distant aroma of hydroponic gardens where fresh produce was grown for the cruise. Stoicism reminded him to accept these transitions gracefully. As Epictetus had taught, circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself. Here, in the shift from solitary void to communal hub, Elias revealed his steady composure, greeting the dock workers with a nod and a quiet word, exchanging manifests without fuss or hurry. The spaceport was alive with gentle activity, drones humming as they ferried crates, fellow truckers sharing brief stories over nutrient packs in the common lounge, and holographic displays flickering with arrival schedules. Elias made his way to the resupply bay, where automated systems refilled the Serenity's tanks with fuel and provisions. He paused at a viewport overlooking Earth below, continents draped in clouds, oceans a deep, inviting blue that shimmered under the sun's caress. It was a sight that always stirred a quiet gratitude, a reminder of Aurelius's words. Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. From this height, humanity's worries seem so small, mere ripples on a vast sea, encouraging Elias to release any lingering thoughts of past hauls and focus on the renewal ahead. With the ship restocked, Elias boarded once more, the airlock sealing with a soft hiss that echoed like a sigh of contentment. He set the course for his next destination, a delivery to the verdant world of Elysia Prime, a terraformed colony in the Alpha Centauri system, known for its lush forests and serene lakes. The jump would take several days through stabilized wormhole corridors, but Elias welcomed the duration, a stretch of time for deeper introspection. As the Serenity detached and accelerated away from the port, the station receding into a twinkling speck, he dimmed the cabin lights to a soft glow, simulating the twilight of a planetary evening. The engines engaged with a low, harmonious thrum, propelling them toward the wormhole gate, where space folded gently like the pages of an ancient book. In the quiet interlude before the jump, Elias prepared a light meal. Fresh greens from the port's market, paired with a warm broth, simmered in the galley. He ate at the small table by the viewport, watching as the wormhole aperture loomed ahead, a swirling portal of iridescent blues and purples, like a cosmic eye opening to distant realms. The flavors were simple, yet nourishing, each bite a practice in mindfulness, echoing Seneca's advice. As long as you live, keep learning how to live. Elias learned anew with every haul, adapting to the subtle shifts in gravity, the nuances of engine tones, the endless variations in starlight. The wormhole embraced the ship, space bending around them in a smooth, enveloping transition. No jolts, only a gentle shimmer as they emerged into the Alpha Centauri system, the binary stars casting a dual glow that bathed the cockpit in warm amber. Elysia Prime appeared on the sensors as a green jewel orbiting its sun, continents lush with engineered forests that breathed life into the once barren rock. Elias adjusted the approach vector, the Serenity descending through the atmosphere with the grace of a falling leaf, clouds parting like soft veils to reveal verdant landscapes below. The landing was featherlight at the colony's spaceport, a modest facility nestled amid rolling hills where the air carried the genuine scent of pine and earth. Real, not simulated. Elias cycled the hatch, stepping out into the open for the first time in weeks, the gravity a comforting weight, the breeze a whisper against his skin. The port was peaceful, far from the hustle of Earth's hubs, workers in simple attire unloading cargo with unhurried efficiency, children from the colony waving from afar as they played in nearby fields. Elias oversaw the transfer of hydroponic equipment, tools to enhance their farms, chatting softly with the foreman about the season's yields. "Bountiful this cycle," the man said, his voice carrying the calm of someone rooted in soil. Elias nodded, sharing a stoic reflection. As Aurelius said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." The foreman smiled, the words resonating in this frontier world where self-reliance was key. With the delivery complete, Elias lingered briefly, walking a short path through the colony's outskirts. Towering trees, genetically adapted from Earth's stock, rustled their leaves in a gentle wind, birdsong, filling the air like a natural melody. He sat on a bench overlooking a serene lake, its surface mirroring the jewel suns in golden ripples. Here, Stoicism felt alive in the environment, the trees accepting the wind's bend without breaking, the water flowing without resistance. Epictetus's dichotomy came to mind: control what you can, your thoughts, your actions, and release the rest. Elias released the pull of departure, simply being in the moment. The warmth of the suns on his face, a quiet blessing. Boarding the Serenity once more, he set course for the next world, the arid mining planet of Vulcan's Forge in the Tau Ceti system, a haul of refined ores awaiting pickup. The ascent was smooth, the ship piercing the atmosphere like a needle through silk, leaving Elysia's greens behind for the star-strewn void. In transit, Elias dimmed the lights, activating a soft audio of forest sounds from his visit, rustling leaves, distant water, to carry the peace forward. He reclined, letting reflections on temperance guide him, moderation in all things, avoiding excess even in solitude. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe, Aurelius had written. Elias harmonized now, his routine a balanced melody of work, rest, and thought. The wormhole to Tau Ceti shimmered open, the ship slipping through with effortless grace, emerging amid a field of asteroids orbiting the system's red dwarf star. Vulcan's Forge loomed below, its surface a mosaic of crimson deserts and volcanic plains dotted with mining domes that glowed like embers. The descent was calm, the ship's heat shields whispering against the thin atmosphere, landing at a rugged port where dust swirled lazily in the low gravity. The miners greeted him with quiet camaraderie, their faces etched with the lines of hard labor, yet softened by the colony's resilient spirit. Elias loaded the ores, precious metals for Earth's industries, with the help of automated lifters, the process a symphony of beeps and hums that blended into the background like white noise. In a brief respite, he shared tea with a group in the dome's lounge, discussing the philosophy that sustained them. "Stoicism helps here," one miner said, "accepting the heat, the dust." Elias agreed, quoting Seneca, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." They parted with nods, the exchange a gentle thread of connection. Lifting off from Vulcan's forge, the Serenity carried its new cargo toward the next leg, a resupply to the ocean world of Aquilon in the Proxima system. The transition was serene, space folding once more, the ship emerging above vast blue expanses where floating cities bobbed on endless seas. The port was a buoyant platform, waves lapping softly against its edges, the air humid and salt-kissed. Elias docked with the ease of long practice, unloading supplies for their aquatic farms. The inhabitants, adapted to life on water, moved with fluid grace, their conversations flowing like the tides. He walked the decks, feeling the gentle rock of the platform, a reminder of cradles and calm. Stoicism wove through his thoughts, justice in aiding these distant lives, wisdom in learning from their harmony with the waves. Adapt yourself to the life you have been given, Aurelius advised. Elias adapted, finding peace in the rhythm. As night fell on Aquilon, stars reflecting in the waters below, Elias departed, the Serenity ascending into the night sky. The haul continued, world to world, port to port, each stop a chapter in his Stoic odyssey. Reflections deepened with every transit, the acceptance of change, the pursuit of virtue, the embrace of the present. In this endless cycle, Elias found eternal calm, his story a lullaby for the stars, guiding listeners toward their own peaceful slumber. The universe whispered on, infinite and serene, as sleep's gentle veil descended once more.